Ethereum, Dogecoin, XRP, ADA, LINA, Enjin, Basic Attention Token, and Bitcoin Cash. Yes, we are going to cover 8 coins today to celebrate 800 subscribers. Thank you. You're amazing. I want to give you more value. So if you're getting more value, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification, share this video, and help others out. So 8 tokens. So if you're wondering who I am, I'm Jagir, the award-winning author of The Extraordinary New Venture Capital Opportunity, How to Invest Like a Pro. Been trading currencies for over 15 years now, and I bring that knowledge and wisdom to crypto to help you out. Featured in the best-selling book in 2008, High Probability Trading Strategies. We bring that knowledge and wisdom to you. So let's dive straight in. So we're going to start with Ethereum. Let's look at this. So this was the video I did on Ethereum on June 25th. So coming up to a month. And what we said was, it looks like we had a nice wave move to the downside, up, and then a correction. We updated this count as a wave A, a wave B, and then looking like a wave C on the downside. So now we go into the live chart. This is where we're at. So we got this nice move to the downside, which we saw, this ABC correction to the B, and then we've had this nice 1, 2, what looks like a 3, 4, and we look like we're making this final wave 5 down to the downside. Now, just a quick recap. We're going to do this once. Elliott wave theory, that's what we're using. Markets typically move in 5 wave folds, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Impulsive, so that's like a bull trend. And then we tend to have an ABC correction. And this goes into a lesser degree also. I cover this in some of my other videos and some of my courses, but just to kind of give you a flavor of when we're doing pattern analysis, this is what we're looking at, right? So with Ethereum, it looks like we're at this kind of phase over here, this ABC correction. So now if we just jump back into the chart, so this here over here, A, B, and then nice wave C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of a wave C. So we look like, let's just zoom in over here. It looks like, and just so you know what this red line is, by the way, this red line I've drawn here is the previous high from 2017, right? From 2017, the previous high, which was around the $1,300 mark. So now if we go to today, it looks like we have come towards this end, a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's just do a quick price analysis. I think I've done this already. Let's have a look. Boom, boom. That's that one there. No, let's do this wave 5 price analysis for a typical end of wave 5 is a wave 1 to 3 measured, projected from a wave 4. And the most common end of wave 5 is actually a 62%, which is a cluster in this region, and a maximum of 100%, which is down here. So likelihood is we're at or close to the low of Ethereum. So Ethereum's what's that? 1,870 today. So let's just look at one other thing with Ethereum. You know, the momentum is still on the weekly chart in the oversold zone. It's done a bearish movement. But on the daily chart, we'll see that the momentum it's oversold. It's done a bull reversal, bear reversal. So it's in this range. So it looks like we'll probably get 1 to 3 days of sideways to down, and we'll probably make a lower low, maybe in the region of around $1,500 on Ethereum, and then we should potentially be at or close to the low of Ethereum. And if that's the case, then we should anticipate a reversal. And it also coincides with the fundamentals of Ethereum. There's a lot of new things coming out with Ethereum. The new updates are being launched. But let me just draw this just so we're clear. If we do make this final low, so lower than this low in this region around the $1,500 mark, and we should then anticipate a nice move to the upside, bigger than any of these movements. Bigger than this movement is what we're looking for, and also bigger than this movement, right? That's what we call an overbalance of time and price. What we're looking for is a nice confident move to the upside. Yeah, and if we can surpass this point here with confidence, that should confirm the first strong indication that we've made the wave 4 low of Ethereum, and then we should go on to see the continuation of all-time new highs over the coming weeks and months. So this is not definite, but this is the high probability outcome for Ethereum. Right, now let's jump into Dogecoin. Some of you love it, some of you hate it, but we're just going to focus on the fundamentals of Dogecoin. So I did a video on Dogecoin, I think the last one was on June 24th, so just under a month ago. And we had this wave count of an A, B, C, D, E, and we said we should be at or close to a wave 2 low. Let's just have a quick update on Dogecoin. So an A, B, C, D, E over here. Now, because we've made a lower low over here, actually it looks like this final wave to the downside is, let's have a look, is making a nice 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a final move to the downside. So we should be at or close to the low of a wave 5 of an E of a 2. E is a complex correction. Typical correction, most common, is an A, B, C zigzag. But here we've got A, B, C, D, and an E. And that's the next most common when it comes to a complex correction. Complex means anything other than an A, B, C correction. So it looks like we can go to a lower time frame just very quickly. Just have a quick glance on an hourly chart. This final part of the move down here, what I've drawn here is a wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a final wave 5 to the downside. So here we're close if not at the low of Dogecoin, and then we should go on to see all-time new highs being made. So this is like a summary overview of Dogecoin. What is the price that's going to give us real confidence? Well, if we exceed this high, right? Because then if we exceed this high with a bit of confidence, now the biggest move of Dogecoin in this whole bear run has been this move here. So we want to see a move that's bigger than this, right? If we see a move that's bigger than this, like this, that would be the first overbalance in price in terms of is the biggest move to the upside. That indicates buying power. And if we see that, that should give us a lot of confidence that Dogecoin will probably go on to exceed all-time new highs. But again, be mindful that Bitcoin is also making new lows, is in this uncertainty zone. There's still a lot of pessimism in the market. So until that really corrects, because the big brother of Bitcoin actually is like a big indicator for the whole market. So Dogecoin, we're at or near an all-time low, not all-time low, a recent low, but we could be near correcting, but we need to see that confidence to get a bit of confirmation. So that's Dogecoin. What's next? Next is XRP. XRP, we did the last video on June 27th. June 27th. Again, let's just jump in. Now, XRP, it's not that clear. So Elliott wave, just so you're clear with Elliott waves. So if we just jump back into the PowerPoint, Elliott waves is evident around 50 to 70% of the time. Let's just stick with 50% of the time. And the other 50%, there's not a clear count. And we never want to force counts for the sake of count. So that's a big confusion with a lot of people when it comes to Elliott waves, that they think every market should have a count. And many academics, when it comes to Elliott waves, try and force counts, and it gets very overly complicated. What we want to do is have a practical application of Elliott waves. So when there's not a clear count, we just go, look, there's not a clear count. We just need to give it time to see how it unfolds. And when we get a clearer picture, we will review. So with XRP, even though we've got a count, it's not as clean. So what we saw initially with XRP, which seemed clean at the time, was this nice move. It looked like a nice wave A, a wave B, and what looked like a nice wave C. Typical ABC correction. But then we saw that the market continued to go up and then make a new low, and then it's gone up and then a new low. So what it looks like at the moment is there was another move to the upside, which is like a wave D. And then what looks to be unfolding is a final wave E broken down to 5 waves. An A, a C, and a wave E, if it goes to a complex correction, typically are 5 waves. So here we can see a 1, 2, potentially a 3, 4, and then a final wave down to the downside. Not as clean as we would like. And sometimes Elliott waves are cleaner than others. This one, we can lean on the momentum. The momentum is oversold, so that's correlating. We've got a price zone also. So we've got a couple of things saying if XRP might be at or near a wave E, a wave 5 of an E over 2 low. That means if we now compare that to this over here, even though this says an A, B, C, it's the same with a D and an E, is a wave 2 low. If that holds, what we should anticipate over the next coming months, not days or weeks, but months, is all-time new highs exceeding the previous waves. So what we want to do next is we're going to look at Cardano. Cardano, our last video. Cardano we got spot on in the sense of last video was on June 11th, and we said what looks like Cardano has made a wave 1 high, this massive move to the upside, but then you had a nice first move, which then looks like a wave A, a correction to that with a B, and we should anticipate the next leg down. Why? Why should we anticipate the next leg down? Look, we always go with the probabilities, and typical corrections are minimum of 3 waves. Minimum of 3 waves. So if we look at the chart here, we got an A, B, and with Cardano, we're anticipating this wave C. So let's see exactly what happened. It unfolded almost textbook. I've actually taken the date from this and I've projected it here. So this is exactly where it was. And let's just see how it unfolded. So we can get the price data and just get it up to the today's day. If I move this arrow out of the way slightly, and we can see that the wave C actually unfolded as anticipated. Now it made a move to the upside, and then it's made a move to the downside here. So where are we with Cardano? So looking here, we've successfully done this part of the move, wave C. So we got that pretty much bang on, which is good to see. It's good to see. We can now delete this. So it looks like we've made this wave too low. We've got a question mark because it hasn't been confirmed. But what we have got is this move to the upside and then another move to the downside. Now, if we jump into a lower time frame, but before we do, just look at this momentum indicator. It shows that there's a bullish reversal being made at this zone over here. It hasn't gone below this point over here. So we could see, it looks like a potential wave 1 over wave 2 of this initial wave 3. So we just jump back into this over here. It looks like this part here, this initial wave 1 and then initial wave 2 of this bigger wave 3. So now if we just go into a lower time frame, let's do it on, we'll do it on this one here. Let's just get rid of the drawings for a second. So we've got this move up. It's not that clean, but it's got this move up and this corrective move down. So this could be, if it holds and doesn't go below this, the new low being made, and then we should anticipate new highs. But again, the bigger thing that we want to take into account when it comes to Cardano is the weekly momentum is oversold and the daily momentum is turned bullish. So we've got a few things here. We've got pattern, A, B, C. We've got price cluster zone. And we can do, let's just do one more thing when it comes to Cardano. Let's just zoom in over here. Zoom in over here. And let's just do a price projection with an alternate price projection. We're going to measure wave A, what looks like a wave A, and project forward wave B. And the minimum for a wave C is this 62%, and it's in that region. So that gives us a bit of extra confidence to say this has a reasonably high probability to hold as the low. Now we know fundamentally Cardano is a super strong project, right? Super strong. It's going to be a competitor to Ethereum. It's doing a lot of stuff in Africa. The co-founder or the founder is the former co-founder of Ethereum himself, Charles Hodgkinson. However, on a technical basis, the low here is lower than I would like. But if we take the candlesticks, we'll see that there was a, yeah, it's in that kind of 78.6% range. So if this holds and it doesn't exceed this low down here, we may see higher highs being made. So what do we want to see to give us confidence? Well, we want to see, if I just go back to the line chart, because on the daily chart, line charts gives us the best information. This move here and this move here is pretty similar. We want to see a bigger move, and we haven't seen that yet. To give us real confidence, we want to see a bigger move than this. If we see that, if over the next week, where this momentum indicator is going to the upside, so next 3 to 7 days, and we see a bigger move than this over here, we're priced to exceed $1.62. That should give us great confidence that this wave C of a wave 2 should hold for Cardano. So there you have Cardano's update. What's next? What's next? LINA. LINA or LINA. LINA is the ticker symbol LINA. Last video was a while ago. It was 11th of June. Now, again, there wasn't a real clear count. The last video that we did, there was a clear move to the upside. It was a corrective waves going to the downside. And what we said here was we want to see a move to the upside above here and then above here. That will give us the first initial indication that the low has been made for LINA. But if we go to today's chart, what we'll see is, looks like now an A, B, C, D, E. However, we've made a new low over here. So it looks like that we've made, I think I drew it here. Did I draw it here? Let me draw it now. A potential wave 2 low. And we've been very patient for this because it's been going lower and lower and lower. And those I know who are holding LINA, it's not comfortable, right? It's not comfortable holding, especially if you bought up here somewhere and it's come all the way down to as low as 0.02. That's insane for LINA. It's a really strong, fundamentally strong project. However, short-term, speculation beats fundamentals. That's just the nature of the game. So what I'm noticing here is this move. If we just take this move into account, right? I'm just going to draw this here. This move is the intermediate wave E. If we look at the moves that have come to the upside, how big has the upside movements been within this wave? Well, we have tiny upside movements there, tiny upside movement here. This is pretty much the biggest one here. So we want to overbalance in price. So now if we zoom in and go, right, this is the biggest movement to date. This move is, let's just make sure we've got that accurate. That's the biggest movement. This movement here, as you can see, just by a fraction, is bigger than the previous move. So that gives us the first slight indication of an overbalance in price, where that's the biggest buying power that we've seen for a while with LINA. So it could be like, because most people say you can't buy at the bottom and sell at the top. However, with proper risk management, and there is pros and cons to this, you can buy near the bottom, especially when we're seeing this over here, the biggest price movement for a while, and it could potentially indicate this wave E of a wave 2 is complete, but we haven't got enough information yet. But we can go into a lower time frame and say, look, if we've got a nice movement and it's impulsive on the upside, we've got a corrective movement to the downside. This could be a wave 1 and a wave 2 of the initial reversal of the whole trend. And what we can anticipate is always a minimum of 3 waves: a wave 1 or an A, a wave 2 or a B, and then a wave 3 or a C. Now, if we take that into account, at this zone over here, this is generic, as in we're looking at LINA over here, but this applies to all markets, not just crypto markets, is we can go, this is likely to be the minimum area that LINA may approach, not guaranteed, but high probability, where you can take some money off the table, take some profits, reduce your risk, and then hold your longer position for the fuller wave if it does unfold. And sometimes like, man, it's just been going lower, it's been going lower, it's been going lower, and then people kind of give up. But that can be the point where we go, boom, we might have reached the bottom. We may have reached the bottom. So let's just have a quick look at I can delete this. Let's just get rid of these. This is an hourly chart. I don't like to go too much onto a smaller time frame, but it can be helpful for us. Let's just go into a line chart just to make it nice and clean. So what we can see here is this nice move to the upside and this nice correction to the downside. And we made a new low over here. So what we're seeing here is a nice, whether it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then there's a bigger correction here, A, B, C, what looks like an A, and then this B, and then a further move to the downside. So we may be seeing the correction of LINA. So I like to look at the macro picture though. Macro, we want to be aware though of the weekly momentum is overbought. So actually just be mindful that the weekly indicator says the upside movement. So this is not the highest probable trade setup. If you've got choices, LINA might not be the best condition because the weekly is overbought to bearish. But the daily says over the next 3 to 7 days, we may see movements to the upside, at least to this zone over here. Then we just need to give it space with LINA. We just need to give it space. So now let's jump into, which one are we jumping into? We are jumping into Enjin. Enjin. I don't think I've done a video on Enjin before. I've done it with my private groups and some of my classes, and I was trying to find my video on Enjin. Enjin is a great NFT gaming platform and it allows you to do some amazing things. But look at the pattern. So let's just focus on the pattern over here. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the theory. Jump into Enjin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the practical, right? And then we expect a correction, a nice A, B, C. It was textbook. However, this movement to the upside was the first bullish indicator. It was just bigger than this. That gave us indication that this is the new bull trend, but the correction was very deep. Look how deep it went. So what this looks like, but because this low hasn't been exceeded, especially if we look on the candlestick pattern over here, this low hasn't been exceeded yet. So what we can be, the take on this is, Let me just close that. Is if we just draw this in, wave 1 is like the intermediate count. Wave 2, it's a deep wave 2, much deeper than we would like. You know, most typical wave 2s are 78.6%. Anything deeper than that, that should give us a bit of cause for concern. However, then we've got another move up, 1, 2. So if this low holds, we could see the next impulsive move. So what we're going to just quickly look at is the weekly indicator. Forget the data for a second. Let's just look at the indicator. So the weekly indicator is bullish. That just says the next few weeks should be sideways to up. The daily indicator on the daily chart is oversold. So when we get the next bullish reversal, we should see some movement to the upside. So we should see at least where we are. We should see at least a movement equal to this movement over here from down here. So what would that be? Because sometimes it's actually best practice to be ultra conservative and say, if we're wrong, what's likely to occur? And that's the minimum that's likely to occur with Enjin, which is $1.90. That's where you can take some money off the table, risk management, adjust your stop loss depending on how you're trading Enjin. But if it does hold, we want to have a significant part of our position that because sometimes, you know, in a whole bull market, it's 1 to 5 of your 100 trades that's going to really make most of your profits. What we're anticipating on the longer term of the months to come is all-time new highs exceeding this high for Enjin. Whether this turns out to be the low or we're just going to have one more leg down, that's yet to be seen. But as for now, because of the momentum indicator and the way this last part has unfolded, is likely we will see the next move to the upside. So there you have it, Enjin. We got 2 more to cover, 2 more. Right, what's the next? Basic attention token. So initially with basic attention token, we had this nice move to the upside. This video was done on June 16th, so I've just got a snapshot of the last YouTube video, and it looked like a nice A, B, and an overextended C. So normally a wave C is the same length as a wave A. That's most typical. Here, this was more towards a 1.618. However, we had a nice move up and then initial A, B, C, what looked like it could be a potential wave 2 of the move to the upside. However, it unfolded slightly differently. So if we look at how it unfolded, we had this move to the downside. We'll see that we changed this to a 1, move to the upside. Initially, we thought this was the C, but then we had another move to the upside and another move to the downside. Now, looking at the psychology of the market, this is more impulsive, but to the downside, meaning that the waves are not overlapping. So this wave over here is not overlapping into this region over here. That says that's very bearish. That's, you know, a 5-way sequence is likely to happen towards the downside. So now we have this very clean chart pattern, which is a 1, 2, 3, 4, and looks like the final leg of a wave 5. And we're looking like we're coming close towards that end. And if we do go towards that end, what should we anticipate? Well, we'll get a projection in a second, but if and when we do get a wave 5 low, then we should anticipate a wave B, which is around here. And we can project what that's likely to be also in just a second. So let's just have a quick look. Let's just get rid of these lines here. We don't need that. We don't need this either. Bum, bum, bum. So we've got this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is that projection, but we've also got this here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's just zoom in over here and see if we get a cluster. So typical wave 5 low over here would be, if we measure this here to here and project it from this wave 4, the typical two numbers is 68.2 and 100%. Where is that on the chart itself? It is, if we can find it, it was, is it this one? This one here? Yeah, it'll be this one here. So this is 62 to 100, and that's this pink box over here. So we're likely to go as low as 0.48. So I reckon we'll make another low, 0.48 or a bit lower for basic attention token. to confirm the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But then what we're looking for, just so we're really clear, is initially a bigger move than any of these moves to the upside. So the initial indication is this wave 2 is roughly the same as that wave 4. We want a bigger, more confident move than that. That will give us a first real indication that we're finished this wave 5 low. And then we should anticipate a minimum of a 50%. Once the low is confirmed, let's just say the low is made around here. As a minimum, we should anticipate price getting to around the $1 mark. $1 mark for basic attention token over, I would say, in fact, we can be quite exact. Let's be exact. Let's not even, let's just say we complete this correction or this wave A by July 27th. If that turns out to be the case, the minimum time taken for a wave B will be 50% of that, which will be around September, mid to late September, a wave B, give or take. So we know we can expect some upside movement once this low is confirmed, if it gets confirmed, right? Because that's what it's looking like. So there's basic attention token. We are going to move to the last one. If you're liking all these videos in one, by the way, let me know. If it's too much, let me know also. We're doing eight in one video to celebrate 800 subscribers. If you haven't subscribed already, like, hit the bell notification and subscribe, because I want to bring more value to you. So let me know, which of these tokens are you most bullish on? What's in your portfolio? Which one are you feeling most optimistic about? So last but not least, let's go into Bitcoin Cash. Jody, I got this one for you. Bitcoin Cash. Last video on Bitcoin Cash was June 15th. We had this nice move to the downside and it looked more like an impulsive wave. Look at this, no overlapping waves. So we call this a wave A. So let's just look at what it's looking like right now. So this was that move. We know it made a bit of a move up and then another move to the downside, bit of a move up and another move to the downside. So what this looks like is the initial part of the Bitcoin Cash correction. A 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And because we're at this low, I reckon this looks like we're coming close to the end of this low for Bitcoin Cash. If that turns out to be the case, we should see an upside movement bigger than this. This has been the biggest one so far. We should see a bigger movement to the upside. Initial movement, something like this. That will give us confidence. But we can also do some Fibonacci price projections for a wave 5, end of wave 5. So again, this is a really deep correction. This is a really deep correction. Look at this. I mean, it's near, not that far off its all-time low of 230, or not all-time low, but recent all-time low. It's a big correction for Bitcoin Cash, considering that it's been as high as $1,500. That's like 75%, 80%. So we should be at or near this initial part of this correction. But let's just do an end of wave 5 price projection. So the typical end of wave 5 is measure 1 to 3, projected from a wave 4, and 62% is the most typical, but the minimum is 38%. So we're likely to get it to around the 38%. More common is 68.2%, but in this case, 38.2 is going to be likely. We can also do one last projection on a lesser degree time count. Is $1.618, and that overlaps perfectly. So it's likely Bitcoin Cash, we'll probably see it getting as low as $374 thereabouts. That's probably going to coincide with a nice bull reversal, and then we should see price get to at least a 50% correction of this whole move to the downside. That will be roughly, again, I'm forecasting here just to kind of give you more of a just a bit of a picture of what's likely to occur. We should see at least price get to around the $1,000 mark, so $964. How long would it typically take? Well, typically it's at least 50% of the time taken to form the wave A. So in this case, it will be by around the end of August, around 5-6 weeks. 5-6 weeks, we should see sideways to up. Let's just quickly also just double check the weekly momentum indicator. Yeah, so it's currently bearish. So we want to be aware of that, but it is in the oversold zone over here. But on the medium term time frame, daily, next 7 to 14 days, we should see and expect sideways to up, but we should expect a final low to be made. Let's just go into a 4-hour chart very quick. Let's just go here. Yeah, so we're expecting this low to be exceeded. Just a final, it's like a fifth wave diagonal happening over here. Final wave 5 happening down here. And then we should see an overbalance in time and price. If we do, then we can be quite confident that Bitcoin Cash has made its low. But it is a big correction, big correction. Look at that's jumping off a cliff, right? That was correlated perfectly with Bitcoin, isn't it? But there you have it. I'm just having a look. Yeah, so we're looking for that big move to the upside. So there you have it. We covered 8 coins today. What is your favorite coin? What are you feeling most optimistic about? And if you like today's video, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. Let me know what you want more of. I tried to kind of get up to date because I was feeling like I was a bit behind. So we did Ethereum, Dogecoin, XRP, Cardano, LINA, Enjin, Basic Attention Token, and Bitcoin Cash. Let's finish up with a quote from Warren Buffett and George Soros. This was the Winning Habits, Investment Habits of. Chapter 10 says, if you don't know when to sell, oh no, we've read that one already. That was the last one. Did I not? No, that's what I went through. This is what losing investors do. Losing investors. This is what we don't want to do. The losing investor has no criteria or adopts someone else's. Can't say no to his own greed, his or her own greed. That's what losers do. We want to learn from losers and go, right, we want to be winners. What do the winners do? There was a side that says winners. Winners refuses to make investments that do not meet his or her criteria, can effortlessly say no to everything else. There you have it. Let's get to 1,000. I think we're on 850 now. 1,000 subscribers. Share this if you know anyone that's this is going to be helpful for. I'll see you soon.